I want to help you get that money that you need to start, grow, or scale that business. Let's be honest. You're selfish. Humans are selfish. So watch the entire video because I want you to use me and use my information so you can get to the next level. You know what I'm saying? Our mission here at CAT, that's my business if you're new. Our mission is basically to help fund $1 billion to small business owners because our purpose is essentially to help reduce crime rate and help reduce depression, right? So a lot of people get in trouble because of money, right? So if we can educate y'all and help y'all get to the next level, we're gonna get this money. So listen and take action on what I'm saying. So number one, what we gonna do? We're gonna make sure that we get our LLC. If you don't have your LLC, go ahead and get your LLC. If you already have your LLC, then just hold on for a little bit, maybe skip 30 seconds, a minute, and then we'll get straight into it. But if you're somebody that's new, maybe you're working a 9 to 5, you're just like, okay, I'm trying to start my first business and everything. I don't have my LLC. You can go get your LLC from a place like Inkfile. You can go get your LLC from a place like LegalZoom. The way that I prefer to do it, I prefer to do it myself. So I would go to the Secretary of State website. A lot of the LLC sites, it's pretty straightforward. I know California and Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, they tend to be a little bit more elaborate as far as what they're asking for, but usually in general, it's a pretty straightforward process. So once you get your LLC, now you're going to want to get your EIN. So you get that for free from the IRS website. If you're working with somebody, they're doing your LLC filing for you and everything. If they're just like, okay, pay me for the EIN, you're being scammed, right? So just keep that in mind. A lot of people will charge for the EIN and be like, oh, this is how much it costs. But it doesn't cost nothing. You can just go to the IRS website and get that for free. You know what I'm saying? So just free game if you didn't know that. So in terms of the credit profile, because your credit is very, very important. For example, um, if you have any negative items on your credit, go to my channel right now. Go to DIY Credit University playlist. The DIY Credit University playlist, it'll give you like over 40, 50 videos on how to actually fix your credit yourself. So keep that in mind, right? We got a one-stop shop for everything you need. Consumer laws, all that, right? But we're talking about funding, obviously. So you want to have a 700 plus score all across the board. So if you have anything less than 700, the minimum would probably be like 680, 690 to go ahead and get funded. But you got to think that that's minimum. Everything we do is big, right? If you following me, you're new to following me. I want you to understand that everything we do is big. We don't even technically, let's be real. Technically, the only reason why I said we want to fund 1 billion in to small business owners is because the term is small business owners. I'm speaking in the language that y'all understand, right? The way that I articulate, people that have been following me, they know that everything we do is big. It should really be big business owners, but for the sake of conversation, we're gonna call it small business owners. But let me stop playing. Let me get back to the point. So you want to have 700 plus across all three of your reports, and you want to just not think minimum, right? That's why I said don't have just a 680 or 690. If you can have 720, 750, the more the merrier, right? Because you're going to maximize your funding, which is what we're going to talk about. You want to make sure you have no negatives. Obviously, if you have any negatives, literally go to my channel, DIY Credit University. You'll be able to go ahead and fix your credit yourself. It's very easy over there, right? Single digit utilization rate. So a lot of people they'll be like, okay, you should have a debt utilization rate of 30%. 30% is average. Again, if you're watching me, if you're part of my tribe, we're not average over here. Everything we do is big. Everything we do is above the minimum. So what we want to do, we want to be single digits, 9% or less on those credit cards. We want to have at least 4 years of average history. You can get like an aesthetic look of your average years of history by opening your Credit Karma app, and that'll give you a look into that. You want to have at least two credit cards with at least $2,500 limits. That's ideal. If you go to a place like a Navy Federal, Alliant Credit Union, Barclays, they tend to give high limits. So I would prefer for you to have at least five-figure limits, so 10,000 and up on your personal credit cards, because there's something called comparable credit. And what that means is when you go and apply for that business credit card, they're gonna measure what you have with how they should approve you. Obviously, there's different factors like your estimated business revenue and other factors, but comparable credit is a thing. I have relationships with different institutions. These are things that we talk about. Funding is not getting any easier. The banks are getting more stingy, right? So we're in an age now where you got to have connections if you really want to get to that next level. So Just keep that in mind. And then you want to have at least 10 positive reporting accounts. So if you have a skinny profile, go get you a pledge loan, go get you some primaries, and do what you need to do. Be careful, like if your age isn't there, if your accounts aren't there, be careful with putting too many authorized user trade lines. In the past, it was more lenient, but like I told y'all, I've been having conversations with these bank relationship managers I have relationships with, and they've been saying that it's not the same as how it used to be. They're gonna know like, okay, this person's having all these authorized user trade lines. What do they have for themselves? So that's why you want to prioritize having primary accounts, right? So keep that in mind. So that's information on, just having your credit profile how it's supposed to be. Oh, going back to the utilization. So you can go to Happy Money or Meet Tally, go and do an application over there, and maybe they'll be able to approve you to pay off your credit cards if you have a high utilization rate. So just keep that in mind as well. So filling out the application. How do we actually fill out the application? So everything I'm about to say right now, this is not financial advice. I'm just telling you what it is, right? I'm telling you what it is based on experience. Just for perspective, I've had my credit and funding business since 2021. I've been getting people funded since 2021, right? I've seen how things have changed over time. I've gotten people 25,000, 50,000, 65,000, right? 10,000, all different ranges. So I've seen over the years how things have changed, right? It's just that as things get a little bit more tight, and as I met with my team, we want to be more aggressive with our funding efforts. So that's why it's our mission here at CAP to help fund 1 billion small business owners, right? 1 billion to small business owners. So keep that in mind. That's part of our mission. We want to help you get that funding. Um, if you're interested in, working with us, you can go ahead and book a call below and we'll be able to help you get to that next level. And the thing about it is a lot of people will be like, why don't I just go and apply and do it myself? You might not have connections, right? So it's the main thing because if you have connections, you're going to be able to get higher limit approvals. So if you're a real estate investor, for example, you might be like, okay, I need 100,000. Let me try and go and do it myself. What if you just go, you get 15,000 here, 15,000 here. Now you just got 30,000 when you should have just got with someone like me that has relationships with people like Chase and different institutions. You get 50,000 on one card, you got 50,000 on one card. Now you got your 100,000. And then you just pay a 10% kickback just for that. It's an investment that you're making. You're able to get to that next level. So just keep that in mind. I know we got some business owners that already know what it is watching. So if that's you, I'm going to leave the link in the description and, let's help you get that money so you can help fulfill our mission. You want to get that money? We want to fulfill our mission. We want to fund $1 billion to small business owners. So, let's get it. But as far as filling out the application, so the biggest data points that we want to address. So number one is your estimated monthly spend. So when you're filling out the application online, a lot of times they're going to ask you for that. And the thing about this data point is you want to think from the bank's perspective because you got to go into it like this is a business. So if I'm a lender and you're coming to me, you're like, okay, I have a business. I want to get a credit card with your institution, but you're telling me that your estimated monthly spend is only like $5,000 to $10,000. I'm gonna be like, okay, I'm not gonna make a lot of money off this person, right? But somebody else comes to me, they're like, okay, my estimated monthly spend is like $40,000, right? I want to spend 10 to 20,000 dollars in ads. I want to spend 10 to 20,000 dollars on this, this, that, and the third. From the bank's perspective, they're gonna rock with that person more because they got more money estimated that they're gonna spend. And remember, it's estimated monthly spend. So when it comes to filling this out, you just got to understand it for your own business. I can't tell you what to estimate here. The main piece of advice I have for you here, it's not going to make or break the entire situation, but your estimated monthly spend can be a factor in giving you a lower limit if your estimated monthly spend is little money, right? You gotta understand everything is about money. Everything is about money. So you got to understand that they're looking to maximize their money. So if you're spending little money, they're not going to want to work with you versus somebody else is spending bigger money, right? So keep that in mind for that data point. So when we go to total gross annual income, number one, do not lie. Do not lie. Do not lie. Do not lie, right? I'll give you that for free. So don't lie on the application. You could put the total household income. That's what I recommend because you got to think about it. Let's say you have a wife. Let's say you have a husband. You applying on the application. You file your taxes together, right? You married or whatever. You file your taxes, they live with you. Okay, how about their income? Let's say you got a son or a daughter, they working they job, right? But they live with you. Okay, now let's say you got what's it called? I say you have a son or a daughter. Let's say you have a additional, let's say you got kids essentially that are grown, they live with you, they working. Total household income. You could put that because you could provide proof of that, right? Like let's say you work a 9 to 5, scamming as 9 to 5. No, I'm playing. But let's say you work a 9 to 5, right? You could provide documents for what you're doing. So keep that in mind. Total household income. It doesn't have to just be you. If they live with you, whoever live with you, put the whole total household income because that's all of y'all getting money, right? So collaboration over competition, right? So annual business revenue, that's important too. So it's going to be stated income, but the thing is, you got to be realistic. This goes back again to the ethics and not just being unrealistic. Let's say, let's say your business, you just started your business for a couple months ago or something. Let's say you do $20,000 a month, right, in your business. If you're doing $20,000 a month, 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, whatever the case may be, it's safe to say that you can estimate that your annual business revenue is going to be like a quarter million, right? Because that's 240,000. So it could be a day old LLC, whatever. Just keep in mind if you're like putting 200,000 and up, and you just started a business, yeah, you can do all that, but they may ask for those extra documentation. So use your due diligence. Use your due diligence. The dope thing about it with me and my clients don't necessarily have to worry about all this because you know we have the relationship with the bank relationship managers. That's the way that I do funding now. Like I said, I've been doing it since 2021. And primarily I used to just do like online applications, but because I have connections that I built over the years, it's a little bit easier now. It's not the easiest thing in the world, obviously, but it's a little bit easier now. So yeah, just keep that in mind. So NACE's code, business consulting is typically safe. So, figure out where you classify. Business address. This goes back again to what I'm saying as far as why it's good to work with somebody that has connections, right? So let's say you're filing online by yourself. They could literally track your IP address. So let's say you have a foreign LLC, like a key bank, for example, is only available in certain states. So let's say it's not available where you're at, right? So what you would do is you would file a foreign entity, but then you have to have a business address out there, but you don't live out there, right? So when you're filling out the application, you get yourself in a situation where it's like, oh dang, I don't live there, but I'm filling out, this application. KeyBank might not be the best example because when I got my KeyBank, you have to go in person. So yeah, just keep that in mind. But just using that example in general, if you're applying somewhere and you don't actually live there, it may raise a red flag to the company. And that's why having a bank relationship manager is important. So if you're watching this, you need funding for that real estate project or whatever, but you don't have any connections, click the link below. Don't be cheap. We'll be able to help you get the funding that you need and you'll be able to get to the next level. But if you want to take the time to try and establish a relationship with a bank relationship manager, you can do it, but you may be wasting time. So that's why we have our service to help you not waste time, right? So you could obviously take the time to try and do it. At the end of the day, you're gonna pay some kind of cost. If you're gonna pay in time, wasting your time trying to establish that relationship, maybe eventually you'll establish it, or you're gonna save your time but just pay money by working with us, and then it's just a 10% kickback. So keep that in mind. So why would we even get business credit cards? The dope thing about business credit cards is that it doesn't report to the personal. 0% interest period. So it ranges. So like let's say 0% interest for 12 months, for example. 0% interest period for 12 months. Let's say you got a $50,000 business credit card, right? You take off the entire $50,000 on that card, your monthly payment for that 12-month period is only going to be 1% or $500. Same thing if it's a $10,000 card, it's only going to be $100. If you can't make a profit within 12 months during that 0% interest period, off of that 10,000, 50,000, 100,000, whatever you fully liquidated, you're in the wrong business and you just need to work a 9 to 5 for the rest of your life, right? So just keep that in mind. And then, like I was saying, you can get higher limits if you work with someone that has bank relationship connections like myself. So How do we maximize our funding? The best way to maximize, like I said, is having a bank relationship manager. If you apply without one, like online, it's like attending a conference as VIP versus general admission. You have extra access, and that's why you're able to get extra funding when you have a relationship with someone that knows underwriting, has a high official position. You know, they can do the DocuSign, all that. So keep that in mind. For example, at Chase Bank, if you apply online by yourself, you might get maybe 10 to 15K on that business credit card. Versus if you got with someone like me that has relationships, you can get anywhere from 50 to 75,000 on the card, right? Depending on your profile. There's no like guarantee. So kind of think about it, like what's the cost of you having no relationships and trying just like guesstimating with your application, you messing up your approval. You got approved for that 10 to 15, but you messed it up because you could have maximized it by getting with someone that has a bank relationship manager. So just keep that in mind as you assess how you want to do your funding. So yeah, if you're interested, go ahead and book a call in the description below. Hopefully this video helped you. Hopefully it educated you as far as how to go about the process. I hear a lot of people that are just like, how do I go about business funding and all that? That's one thing too. Business funding is like an overall umbrella term. Business funding is composed of stuff like business credit cards, business lines of credit, and all that. So just keep that in mind as you continue your education as far as getting this funding, getting this money. With that being said, if you're new, make sure you like, comment, subscribe. I mean, even if you're not new, go ahead and like it, comment, and keep on subscribing. Put on my post notifications. Again, the mission is to help fund $1 billion to small business owners, big business owners, so that we could help reduce crime rate, reduce depression, all of that. People are working these 9 to 5s that they don't love. You might be working a 9 to 5 that you don't love right now, right? You're in a good position because maybe you make 6 figures already. You have the W-2 to prove it. Go ahead and use your good credit to get that LLC and then come with us. We'll be able to maximize your funding. Then you can go ahead and start that business and eventually leave that 9 to 5 that you don't like. That scamming ass 9 to 5. You know what I'm saying? So with that being said, y'all have a blessed one.